Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I am Lydia Odidiochi. We're glad to have you join us once again. President Bola Tinubu has signed some new executive orders towards ameliorating hardship occasioned by multiple taxations in the country. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila reports that this follows complaints about multiple taxation and anti-business inhibitions.
Ago decided to march beyond the dimness of night into open day of renewed national hope.
It's another step in fulfillment of campaign promises re-echoed in his inaugural speech. The current administration is paying attention to issues constituting hardship on Nigerians and micro businesses by way of taxation.
When you talk about the revenue management, it's not only in tax collection. The starting point is our economic policy, because our aim is not to tax poverty. Our aim is not to tax production. Our aim is to increase our productive activity, capacity to produce. Then we can tax our consumption. And that is the direction of our economic planning.
Indeed, the intentions behind upward adjustments of some of these taxes are quite noble. They were designed to raise revenue as well as address environmental and health issues of concern. However, they have generated some significant challenges for and elicited serious complaints amongst key stakeholders as well as in the business community.
Part of the measures is to address business-unfriendly fiscal policy and multiplicity of taxes.
The Tinubu administration has since noticed that some of the tax policies are being implemented retroactively with their commencement dates, in some instances predating the official publication of the relevant legal instruments backing the policies. This lacuna has created some challenges of execution or implementation.
The new decision affects the Finance Act Order 2023, signed into law by the previous administration, which seeks to introduce some changes to the existing tax laws and regulatory framework. President Tinubu has now ordered the deferment of the Finance Act Order 2023 to commence on September 1st, 2023, and also shifted the Custom Excise Tariff Amendment Order 2023 to commence on August 1st, in line with the national tax policy.
VAT has law, and that's the law that we're following. So I don't know any of those traders that their turnover in a year is more than 25 million. So if law is followed, so it's safe to say that those things are not applicable to those market women of 5%. So because what determines VAT is not percentage, it's just your turnover. So if your turnover is less than 25 million, you are exempted from VAT law.
Both the Finance Act 2023 and the Customs Excise Tariff Order 2023 did not give the required minimum notice period, thus putting businesses in violation of the new tax regime even before the changes were gazetted. As a result of this, many of the affected businesses are already contending with the rising costs, falling margins, and capacity underutilization due to various microeconomic headwinds, as well as the impact of the Naira redesign policy.
Also ordered is the suspension of the 5% excise tax on telecommunication services, as well as excise duties escalation on locally manufactured products. In addition to the suspension of the import tax adjustment levy on certain vehicles, the President has equally ordered the suspension of the newly introduced green tax by way of excise tax on single-use plastic, including plastic containers and bottles.
Now, the category of imported vehicles specifically refers to vehicles of 2,000 cc and above. That's the capacity, the engine capacity of 2,000 and above.
If we've not provided the alternative, it will be inhuman to tax the only option that we have. And that is what we say, that we suspend it. So pending the time we have alternative for the other use of all these plastics. So it is the view of Mr. President that it should not be a good representation that you've not provided the alternative and then we start from imposing the taxes. And then it's wisdom. That is why we have to suspend this for now.
The government promised to create friendly policies to allow businesses flourish across the country. From the State House, Abraham Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army is marking the 160th anniversary of its establishment in the ancient city of Ibadan. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in a message to the celebration through his vice, Kashim Shettima, said his administration is poised on ending insecurity in Nigeria and salutes the Nigerian Army, particularly those who have sacrificed their lives in service of their fatherland. President Tinubu said while the recent efforts by stakeholders will not go unrewarded, his administration will support all laudable initiatives to boost the security architecture of the country as it strives to guarantee the safety of law-abiding citizens. The Chief of Army Staff, Major General Taoreed Lagbaja, said the event offers the Army an opportunity to take stock, assess its performances, interface with the public, and set goals for continued professional growth. In another development, Major General Jonathan Ugoke is the new commander of the Nigerian Army Ordnance Corps. Jesuton Moses has details of the ceremony where he took over the reins of leadership from Major General Adeyemi Alabi.
It has been 32 years of service, and Major General Adeyemi Alabi, who rose through his career in the Ordnance Corps to become the commander, is handing over, like many of his counterparts, due to recent development following the swearing-in of the new president. For him, success mentality, dedication and commitment to protecting the nation's territorial integrity and support from his team were instrumental to his success. He charged the officers to support his successor towards achieving the core mandate of the Corps.
Please don't be stubborn, be open to correction, listen to what he has to tell you, and be prompt.
The new commander, Major General Jonathan Ugoke, shortly after his decoration and handing over ceremony, appreciated the Chief of Army Staff for the privilege to serve in the new capacity. He promised to key into the Army Chief's command philosophy, pledging commitment to capacity building, teamwork, mentorship, and accountability.
Everything that has to do with ordnance stores, that is what the Nigerian Army Ordnance Corps provides in support of the Nigerian Army. And the Corps has keyed, in my speech, has keyed into the command philosophy of the Chief of Army Staff. And that is how the overall vision of the Chief of Army Staff will be achieved.
High point of the event was the change of guard ceremony.
Please stand fast! Let the guard into the gas. Yes, miss!
In Lagos, Jesuton Moses, NTA News.
Indigents of Pite community in Tai local government area of Rivers State have commended the sensitivity of the Nigerian Army to the health needs of the people. They were speaking at a free medical outreach organized in the area by the Nigerian Army 6th Division, where about 200 members of the community benefited. Dibabari Siedoma Nweke was there and now reports.
It is indeed a gathering of the indigents, both young and old, who are here at the Model Primary Health Center, Bite Tai local government area, Rivers State, to take advantage of this free medical outreach by the Nigerian Army 6th Division in attending to their health needs. Medical conditions such as malaria, typhoid, eye issues, among other ailments, were all attended to. Madam Beatrice is one of the beneficiaries. For her and others, their joy knows no bound as the exercise is first of its kind in their community.
Before I stay for Kwite for 6 long, I don't born 5 children, my husband don't die, I never see this thing, but I see this thing today.
We came to collect free medical for everybody and we are so happy.
General Officer Commanding 6th Division Nigerian Army, represented by Commander 6th Division Garrison, Brigadier General Eddie Effiong, believes the gesture will go a long way in building closer ties with the people and also meet their health needs.
We are here to say we are grateful for the way that you have been with us, you cooperated with us, and you work with us well. And that is why we are here, choosing this place to come and carry out the medical outreach, so that even when we live here, they can continue to take care of the people health-wise.
The medical outreach, which is part of activities to commemorate the Nigerian Army Day 2023, also featured donation of medical equipment to the health center. In Pite, Tai local government area of River State, Dibabari Siedomameke, NTA News.
90th ECOWAS Council of Ministers meeting is holding in Guinea-Bissau to discuss issues facing the West African sub-region and profile solutions to present ahead of the 89th Heads of State and Government meeting. At this meeting, Ministers of Finance and Foreign Affairs will deliberate on strengthening growth and development across the West African sub-region. Nigerian Permanent Secretary for Foreign Affairs talks about the interest of Nigeria.
Demonstrate our unwavering dedication to enhancing economic growth, social development, and regional cooperation within the ECOWAS space.
Nigeria stands to gain a lot simply because the Abidjan-Lagos corridor, by the time we open that trade, we discover that so many of our exports will make their inroads into the remaining parts of ECOWAS, particularly through Benin Republic to Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, Mali, Senegal, up to the Gambia. And these are areas that we feel Nigerian companies and the private sector can exploit and ensure that our products are exported within the region without any encumbrance.
INEC says it has reviewed the case filed from the police which established a prima facie case against the suspended resident Electoral Commissioner of Adamawa State, Hudu Yunusa Ali. Statement by INEC National Commissioner for Information Festus Okoye notes that the Commission has filed a 6-count charge against him at the Adamawa State High Court sitting in Yola. Consequently, the court has fixed Wednesday, 12th July 2023 for commencement of trial. The statement adds that the Commission is working with the Nigerian Bar Association NBA for the diligent prosecution of other cases. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC says it has commenced necessary preparations for the conduct of all by-elections as well as the 3 off-cycle governorship elections scheduled to hold this year. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu stated this in Abuja, and Timothy was there.
INEC is confronted this year with 4 by-elections as a result of resignation of Femi Gbajabiamila in the case of Surulere 1 Federal Constituency of Lagos State, and death in respect of Jalingo, Yero, Zing Federal Constituency of Taraba State, Chibok State Constituency of Borno State, and Chikun State Constituency of Kaduna State. The Commission is also preparing for 3 off-cycle governorship elections in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi states, which are scheduled for 11th November 2023.
We have already published the final list of candidates for the elections, and campaign in public officially commenced on the 14th of June 2023. The Commission will soon commence the regular stakeholder engagements ahead of the elections.
Election stakeholders across Kogi, Imo, and Bayelsa are craving a conducive atmosphere devoid of crisis before, during, and after the elections.
We urge the security agencies not to relent in their efforts to rid the state of not only the criminal political merchants, but also to ensure that their backers are arrested and prosecuted.
They urged politicians not to overheat the polity, as well as desist from arming youth for political purposes. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide. Let's now go to Lagos, where Michael Olalaye is standing by with more stories. Hello, Michael.
Yeah. Despite the arrest of 60 suspects in connection with more than 500 seizures in 6 months, the Federal Operations Unit Zone A of the Nigeria Customs Service is still resolute in using intelligence-backed enforcement to impose legitimacy in the trade process. The acting controller of the unit, Hussein Ejibono, was emphatic on this stance while giving insight into the anti-smuggling efforts of the zone.
That you are free to move around.
Intercepting 62 trailer loads of foreign rice within the first 6 months of the year is a feat that resonates with the customs quest of complementing the federal government's objective of stimulating local production. In addition to this, according to acting controller of the Federal Operations Unit Zone A, is the arrest of a smuggler notoriously known for attacking customs officers.
Rice in the bush, on our way going.
He shared a scenario in which the suspects, alongside others, barricaded the road somewhere in the Mekong axis of Ogun State before opening fire on officers.
All of a sudden, they open fire.
He condemned the act and noted that he is positive the judicial precedent, which granted the agency 11 convictions on offences related to assault on officers, will take its course.
We are grossly incompetent to jail them, but we have all what it takes to put them in the cooler. And we want this to stand as signal to any would-be perpetrators of heinous crime to see and to note government will look for them and they will be dealt with accordingly.
2 other suspects were arrested at Ijebu-Ode and Ruth Kano for concealing more than 3,000 parcels of cannabis sativa among cables and pipes. The customs said importation of illicit substances along the creek is assuming an alarming dimension, but promised to strengthen patrol.
We are going to send all our intelligence officers through all the nooks and crannies, including the Lagos creeks.
Within the 6 months of the Federal Operations Unit Zone A anti-smuggling intervention, goods with duty-paid value of 4 billion naira have been seized. Lagos State government has continued to intensify advocacy on the need for concerted efforts to check the menace of domestic violence, especially at the grassroots across the metropolis. This time, the Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency is engaging the traditional wedding coordinators, popularly known as Alagaduro in Lagos. Musa Toliat has details.
The need to sustain engagement with critical stakeholders in the fight against domestic violence cannot be overemphasized. This gathering of traditional marriage compares, popularly known in Yoruba parlance as Alaga Iduro, is strategic, given their roles as custodians of cultural and traditional values who interface with intending couples. These participants were sensitized on inculcating in intending couples the scourge of domestic violence and how to deal with little misunderstanding before it degenerates in marriage. The Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency is therefore collaborating with these all-important traditional marriage coordinators to prevent the menace.
We have all representatives of all 57 LGA and LCDs here present. So after we introduce this, the next thing now is to train the other Alagas on these issues of domestic violence, issues of sexual violence, issues of child abuse, so that when they are counseling with relevant information.
There were reactions to the message of the event.
We've been advising the grooms and the brides, but with this program, this will empower us more. We make sure we counsel couples, and part of the topic we take in counseling them is no to domestic violence.
The theme of the engagement is Ile Alayo, which translates to a home of tranquility. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Lagos. Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Time for some messages, and when we return, the news continues from our Makadi Network Center. Please stay.
Whether from the winding creeks of Niger Delta, the vastness of northern Savannah, the boardroom of Lagos, the building, bustling capital of Abuja, as busy market of Onitsha. We are all the people. As your president, I shall serve you with prejudice towards none, but compassion and amity towards all.
History is history, so either you know it or you don't.
My advice to the younger generation is that they should learn from what we have started and what we have left.
I did things that ordinarily I should not have been doing. What that meant was that I was working hard.
Whatever assignment you are given in life, put in your best.
The military years were a disaster.
Smoldering effects of all that is what we are trying to cure.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. Application for iOS or Android. Intelsat 901/332.5 degrees east. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
We must all join hands to work hard so that we build a country for our grandchildren.
My hope is that we develop as a nation where every citizen is given his due right. There is transparency, honesty, and integrity.
Put the interests of this country first and foremost. Interest of Nigeria is being one nation, one people.
The need, if I mean, to put things right, things that have gone wrong before, to try and put right, for the love of country.
Thanks for joining us in Makudi. Apart from the highly classified modus operandi of military operations, it has also over the years employed the policy of military-civil relations for the public to be carried along in the task of defending the territorial integrity of the nation. In Nasarawa State, the Nigerian Army, through the 4th Special Forces Command, DOMA, is taking this to a new level by engaging secondary school students on what it terms public speaking engagement. Abari Solomon reports that this is part of activities to mark the 2023 Nigerian Army Day celebration.
In the midst of current security challenges nationwide, the Nigerian Army Day celebration is being observed every 6th of July to acknowledge the role military is playing in safeguarding territorial integrity of the nation from external aggression and internal disturbance, as well as to remember the officers who laid down their lives for the sake of the country. This year's event was adjudged to be unique as the officers deemed it fit to engage secondary school students on public speaking and interaction on military and other contemporary issues.
They have done a wonderful job to enlighten those that want to be something in future, also have a career.
Without this knowledge that I have now, I'm not sure I would have known what soldiers used to pass through, but seriously, they have done a lot, and I appreciate them for that. I also thank the Lord God for keeping them, for making those kind of people in the world.
Facilitators and professionals from the military took turns to enlighten the students on the need to be law-abiding and patriotic, the need to uphold the virtues of honesty and integrity, the need to shun all forms of criminal activities, among other issues germane to national development.
The Chief of Army Staff, Major General T.A. Lagwaja, thought it wise that to take the advocacy for all those characters of good conduct to the grassroots in order to imbibe, to start building those habits into the children at the early stage of their life and their career.
The event climaxed with an answer session, presentation of gifts to deserving students, and documentary show on military operations. In Lafia, Abari Solomon, NTA News.
4 judges have been sworn into the Benue State Judiciary with a charge to continue to uphold the principles of fairness and unwavering commitment in the discharge of their duties. Governor Hyacinth Alia, who performed the swearing-in ceremony, also urged them not to use their offices for personal gains, but to consider it as a privilege to serve the state. Elias Itiaf completes the report.
Of the 4 judges, 3 are of the High Courts, while the other is of the Customary Court of Appeal. Governor Hyacinth Alia, while congratulating them for being considered to serve the state in their capacities, said much is expected of them in their mandate to deliver justice to the people of the state. The governor also encouraged the new appointees to uphold fairness and unwavering commitment and dedication to the tenets of justice delivery.
Justice delayed is justice denied. We therefore charge the newly sworn judges and their colleagues to ensure firm, fair, and timely dispensation of justice in all cases before them.
Responding on behalf of the new appointees, Mrs. Lillian Tumba pledged to continue to exhibit professionalism, noting that they are aware of the demands of their offices and the impacts on the lives of the people.
I want to pledge, Your Excellency, my lords, that we shall hold this office, this trust in humility. We shall hold this office with diligence and responsibility. We shall hold the fear of the Most High God.
The government used the occasion to plead with civil servants who are yet to collect their salaries to exercise more patience, as their salaries will be paid immediately when the issues are resolved. In Makudi, Elias Itiaf, NTA News.
And that's it from Makudi. Nationwide continues in Abuja with Lydia.
Many thanks, Fatima. The Federal Inland Revenue Service wishes to intimate the public about the existence of the above screenshot being shared on social media. The Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, says it has not extended the filing for companies' income tax. Please disregard any news claiming there has been an extension. The screenshot and information therein is fake. The United States government has renewed commitment towards building resilience in Nigeria's critical sectors in line with federal government economic and investment policy frameworks. The U.S. acting ambassador to Nigeria, David Green, dropped the hint during a high-level engagement with the Gombe State Governor, Muhammadu Inuwa Yahaya, on structural re-engineering at the grassroots. Abubakar Akwanga reports.
This strategic session was at the instance of the U.S. acting ambassador to Nigeria, David Green, to Governor Muhammadu Inuwa Yahaya of Gombe State, designed to seek greater mutual cooperation between the two entities. But the end of the fuel subsidy regime gave more life to the deliberation as the acting ambassador lost the federal government for the bold step taken to save the nation's economy from imminent collapse.
And I believe that one of the ways in which the U.S.-Nigeria relationship is going to develop very strongly in the years to come is in terms of the direct engagement that we will seek to have with state governments in order to advance our shared goals.
Improving either on education, the health sector, agriculture, and industrialization, they're very, very key. The fundamentals on which we now extend and spread prosperity to the people.
Gombe is now on the table with assurances of a more robust partnership to meet its 5-point priority and life-changing areas of human capital development in the state and beyond. Now, the new phase of engagement is expected to strengthen collaboration that will engender prosperity in agriculture, security, commerce, and hospitality industry, which the jewel of the Savannah projects. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
Nigeria's diplomatic ties with the Republic of Austria in the area of anti-corruption drive is deepening. This is as the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, is enhancing the already established collaboration with the International Anti-Corruption Academy of Austria in the fight against corruption in Nigeria. The areas of collaboration include exchange of staff operations, training, regional cooperation, and financing of anti-corruption services.
Example in the immediate past where one of our staff was with AACA for about 2 years or more. We hope to take that forward a bit more once we agree on the parameters. We have agreed to test the waters by having some activities at the regional level.
We have worked with 29 anti-corruption commissions on a huge range of issues, training people of different sectors. You know, we have trained thousands of civil servants in Soviet successor states. Last week we trained 90 anti-corruption experts from the Thai anti-corruption agency who came to Vienna for training.
International Anti-Corruption Academy Austria, Thomas Stilzer, has paid a courtesy visit to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Aguele, on strengthening anti-corruption fight in Africa. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Aguele, has reiterated the federal government's commitment to stamp out corruption in the country through stringent measures. The SGF was speaking while receiving the governing board of the International Anti-Corruption Academy, led by the chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, Professor Bolaji Owasonoye. Kenneth Nanim was there.
Corruption is a global phenomenon, and the International Anti-Corruption Academy, based in Vienna, Austria, is seeking Nigeria's partnership on a law-based global campaign against the tide. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Aguele, is confident of the political will of the present administration to stamp out corruption in the country.
The singular removal of fuel subsidy by the present government of President Ahmed Tinubu clearly shows the determination of this government to fight corruption. Nigeria would appear to be the only country in the world that was operating 4 forex windows in its economy. And this was being carried out by the central bank. This has been eliminated.
Nigeria has been a strong partner in the past. Before COVID, COVID was a rupture and a lot of things came down a little bit. So this is one of the purposes of my visit here, to see how we can reinvigorate our cooperation, what we can do for you, what you request from us, and how we can work with your institution in our global agenda of fighting corruption.
Earlier, the chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, Professor Bolaji Owasonwoye, explains that ICP's collaboration with the IACA will strengthen the capacity of the institution towards achieving its mandate. The visit of the Dean of IACA was also to identify other areas of partnership in line with its global mandate on manpower development as enshrined in the Sustainable Development Goals. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, has played host to the Gombe State Governor, Muhammadu Inuwa Yahaya, and speakers of state assemblies from the North Central Zone, who came to congratulate him on his appointment and to enhance collaboration between the federal and state governments. The SGF was expressive on the need for a harmonious working relationship between the executive and legislative arms of government for national development, but not to undermine the principles of separation of power, the rule of law, as well as checks and balances that promote democratic practices.
Cooperating with the executive does not mean you have become a rubber-stamping institution. No. We have to cooperate so that collectively we choke up achievements, spreads prosperity, and ensure that critical infrastructure is provided for the benefit of our people, the people that we represent.
The leading role by the SGF towards the success of President Tinubu in the 2023 presidential election was acknowledged by both Governor Yahaya as well as the speakers from the North Central Zone. In separate remarks also, they expressed the confidence in his capacity to pilot affairs of the present administration to deliver on good governance. To be forewarned, they say, is to be forearmed. And like it is also said, those with ears, let them hear. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency says the northern Nigeria and parts of the north central will experience extreme weather conditions in the days ahead that could result to flooding. This is coming as the agency signs a memorandum of understanding on weather-related disaster management and rescue. Musa Baba Aliyu has details.
The rainy season is here and it is wet almost every day in most parts of the northern states, including the Federal Capital Territory. Reports from NIMET Observation Center indicates that the states are experiencing above normal rainfall this year. This has therefore resulted to flooding in some states, including Kebbi, Jigawa, Adamawa, and the FCT.
We've seen in Katsina just last 24 hours, they received 178 millimeters of rain in less than 10 hours. And we've seen evidence of flash floods in Katsina. We have seen Borno, Yobe, Jigawa, and parts of Kano will have well above normal rainfall. And that is the upstream location of this country, and whereby all the rivers drain down to the central parts of the state. So people should please adhere to our focus products.
To this end, the Weather Watchdog signed a pact with the International Rescue Committee on the provision of advisory on rainfall-related data, as well as forecast on flooding.
We engage a lot of partnership with stakeholders that are on the ground to be able to relay our services. As we say, our services are perishable, so we need a platform to relay these products. And the IFRC, they have been in some parts of this country providing early warning, especially services. So, and they see our service as very pertinent, and that's why we've signed the MOU for them to relay our products, especially to their target states. This we have done to more than 30 organizations.
It has been predicted that more than 25 states of the country will experience flooding this year. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
We have Professor Emmanuel Ladipo, a climatologist, joining us from Lagos, and he speaks via a call right now. Thank you for joining us, Professor.
Thank you. Good afternoon, viewers.
Okay, thank you for joining us. With NIMET's prediction, what is expected of governments at all levels in mitigating its effects on the populace?
Thank you very much, and we appreciate what NIMET is doing. But beyond these predictions, which to me are more or less obvious, that in this era of extremely global warming, the amount of moisture and water that will be expected is not more than before. What we need to do is the federal government and the state government should really declare more or less an emergency on this issue and come up with a cooperated approach, not leave it to the federal government alone, a cooperated approach to map out the strategies that should be used to curb the impact of the impending floods that are expected in most parts of the country in the next 2 months. I think that's the key issue.
Okay.
Not only just looking at the prediction, but also taking immediate action to prevent and reduce the amount of losses that may be coming our way.
All right, Prof, for residents living in flood-prone areas, what are they expected to do, weighing the dangers to their lives and property?
First of all, the first thing they must do is to recognize that they are living in a place that is prone to flood. If you don't recognize that, then you will not be able to take an action. Once you recognize that, yes, I'm in a place where it may flood anytime, then the next is, what are the options do I have? Do I vacate the place? Or if I want to live there, what are the main channels, the water that is likely to come my way, likely to pass through? Are those channels blocked? Do I need to clean them up? What do I do? Or do I have to wait on government? People should just not wait on government. Anything around you, where you are very close to the floodplain, try to make sure that you have thorough way for the water to pass through. If you don't do that, then in the long run, then you are liable to be flooded away in many instances.
Okay.
Yes, right.
Go ahead. Okay, let me ask this question. You know, we've been having flooding. This is not the first time. Last year was one. I'm sure we've not forgotten that. But it looks like sometimes Nigerians seem to forget things that have happened in the past. Now, what do you suggest in the long term to curb incessant flooding in residential areas?
I think go back to the issue. All of us have agreed. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. We keep on saying the same thing every time. The flood is affecting us. But is there any strategic national approach that can be translated to state actions that can be used to determine what to be done and what should be done? For instance, by now, there should be a sort of national program in which all the states will buy in. That as from the month of April, these are the things I will do. The month of May, these are the things I will watch for. The month of June, these are the things I will be able to do. I know that June, July, August, in many parts of Nigeria are likely to be flood months. So what are the things that government has to really bring this thing upon? Every year we talk, once the floods aside, it's a very funny thing. If anybody will watch, for those that were living in Abuja last week, the flash flood takes so long that within 1 hour after it has damaged everything, you think that was not there again. That's the way it operates. So we must remember that the months of June, July, August in this country, many parts of this country are months of flood, and all actions must be proactive. We do not have to wait till damage is done and we distribute a blanket. No. What can we do? Second thing, I think that we need to do for the country to go back.
Okay.
If you can get all the maps of the old years, where are the river channels? Where are they before? What have we done to them? And so what we can ask, okay, can we try to rectify some of the constructions we have done in some areas to make sure that we minimize
course, local governments too.
Nothing will happen. And local government.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Professor Emmanuel Ladipo.
And the River Basin Authority.
Thank you for your contributions. We really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're talking to Professor Emmanuel Ladipo, a climatologist. He speaks from Lagos. Director, Abuja Environmental Protection Board, O.C. Brahima, says the sewage plant in the FCT is fully functional and designed to meet the required standards. This was while refuting claims that the agency is exposing the FCT residents to sewage toxins. Aisha Bashir has details.
The director, Abuja Environmental Protection Board, O.C. Brahima, in a facility tour with other stakeholders around the sewage system treatment plant, says maintaining proper hygiene in the FCT has been their top priority over time. He explained that routine maintenance is usually carried out on the plant, and that is what members of the public were mistaken for toxins.
As you can see, the plant is fully functional, well maintained, and there's no discharge of raw sewage anywhere in the Federal Capital Territory. So there was never a time it was shut down for 6 months, and that will really be the height of irresponsibility to shut down such a critical infrastructure for 6 months. So it's even hard to believe that that will occur.
He assured FCT residents that the mandate of the Abuja Environmental Protection Board will not be compromised.
There's no panic at all. There is no discharge of raw sewage anywhere in the FCT. The sewage coming out of this plant is treated, and I'll also take you to the discharge point at the back of the plant. So you follow the processes of treatment from the beginning to the very end.
O.C. Brahima called on the public to disregard such information as it is false, urging FCT residents to collaborate with the agency in maintaining a healthy environment. Aisha Bashir, NTA News.
It's still nationwide. Let's join Suleiman Rigachuku in Kaduna for more stories. Hello, Suleiman.
Lydia, and welcome to Kaduna Network Center. Stakeholders on disaster management in Kaduna are brainstorming for permanent solution to flooding in the country. They are appealing to people living on waterways to, as a matter of urgency, evacuate the areas to avert calamities. Haruna Mohammed reports that went around major flood-prone areas in Kaduna and now reports.
Of the National Assembly, in a bid to avert impending flooding, asked relevant bodies to, with immediate effect, release funds for dredging of canals and other waterways.
There are 5 bridges over River Kaduna, and this one here is situated in the metropolis, which is to have a water level indicator right at the center. But as it is no longer visible, signaling an impending flooding.
Areas of Kigo Road, Rafim Guza, Ongwenrimi, Tudunwada, among other flashpoints are prone to flooding. Kachela Kabiru is a resident of Kigo Road.
Like the one of last year, covered a lot of houses and even the street, and a lot of people, they lost a lot of things. Year in, year out.
Freezer, my telly, my mattress, and my chairs got spoiled. Raw carpets, things of that nature. Because I never gave up, even when the water was in.
The worst of it was the one that happened in 2015. That actually swallowed so many houses, and a lot of residents suffered.
Stakeholders are calling on those living on waterways to evacuate to avert loss of lives and property.
And we are also advocating for also having a buffer dam, which will be a kind of an opportunity for us to absorb the excess water. And this excess water can be utilized during dry season for irrigation purpose.
Are involved in mitigating, flooding in the state, to identify the vulnerable areas in Kaduna, as well as, identifying the causative factors for flooding.
The Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency had in its 2023 annual flood outlook predicted 178 local governments in 32 states of the Federation, including the FCT, to be on probable flood risk areas in Nigeria. In Kaduna, I am Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
The Director General of the National Youth Service Corps, Brigadier General Yusuf Dogara Ahmed, has called on Nigerians to continue to give support to the activities of the scheme to make it more viable. He made the call during a workshop organized for stakeholders in Kaduna. Gloria Tukenwodun has the rest of the story.
Drawn from the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, staff of NYSC converged on Kaduna to brainstorm on effective means to create an enabling environment and to equip its staff on modern ways of piloting activities of the agency in line with pre-orientation course. Director General of the scheme, Yashau Dogara Ahmed, says the scheme will continue to train and retrain his staff for a better output. He called on stakeholders to continue to create an enabling environment for the scheme to succeed.
This forum will come up with far-reaching resolutions and especially issue policy guidelines for the smooth conduct of the exercise.
Representing the Governor of Kaduna State, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Education, Kaduna State, Abdulhaliru Musa Suba, says the impact of the scheme cannot be overemphasized, hence the need for its sustenance.
In constant touch with the management to cushion the, to provide the necessary welfare for corps members. And after their orientation, if they are posted to our secondary schools or our ministries, we make sure that we take care of their welfare and other things.
The National Youth Service Corps has been an institution for national unity and peaceful cohesion since inception. Gloria Tukenwadu, NTA News.
Pulse ahead with Lydia in Abuja on Nationwide after the commercial break.
Nigeria means a lot to me.
And Nigeria means peaceful cohesion.
My country.
We continue to pray, and then hopefully we will come to understand that unity of purpose, unity of living together. Our ethnic beliefs and background and culture is our strength.
Ever since the amalgamation period of 1914 to date, about 109 years ago, the people of Nigeria live very peacefully with one another.
I think diversity helps a lot to enhance robust development in Nigeria.
All over the country, you have so many ethnic groups, over 250. That is enough to tell you that this is a blessed country that God has kept, together as one indivisible entity.
Your skill is key to your professional growth in the competitive broadcast media industry. Take advantage of the following programs specially packaged by NTA Television College Jos to upgrade your skill. Drama Production Workshop, date 3rd July to 21st July 2023, 3 weeks. Intermediate Online News Reporting Skills, date 24th July to 11th August 2023, 3 weeks. The course fee for the 2-week course is 120,000 Naira, while the fee for the 3-week course is 150,000 Naira only. Accommodation inclusive. All courses will hold at NTA Television College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For further enquiries, please call 0803-079-5335 or 0806-980-9807. NTA Television College Jos, training you to be the best you want to be. Registrar Announcer.
Subsidy can no longer justify its ever increasing cost and the weight of dry resources. We shall instead rechannel to fund to better investment in public infrastructure, education, healthcare, and jobs that will materially improve the lives of our people.
Thank you for staying. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has granted conditional bail to the suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari. The presiding judge, Justice James Omotosho, gave the order for a conditional bail to Abba Kyari in the sum of 50 million naira with 2 sureties in like sum. The bail was granted to the suspended DCP in a matter involving him and 2 of his siblings who were accused of failing to declare assets to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. The NDLEA had earlier filed a 24-count charge against Kyari and his brothers, Mohammed Baba Kyari and Ali Kyari. The court equally held that the 2 sureties must have property worth 25 million naira within the court's jurisdiction, among other conditions. The court also held that even when Kyari meets the bail conditions, the endorsement of his release warrant is subject to developments in a sister case in which he is being tried with 4 others on alleged involvement in dealing illicit drugs. And that concludes Nationwide. Thank you for watching. I am Lydia Odijochi. Have a wonderful evening. Goodbye.